We also talk about the amazing EFL Cup game today. I know Johnny loved 100%.
Yeah, it was funny. You should have heard what Johnny said earlier about that shit.
What did you say?
I said,
He was like, "There you go."
yeah, I said that I really, really wanted Chelsea to win, so I just talk about their performance in Carabao, and we could act like that West Brom game didn't even happen.
Yeah, that's a disappointing week. Tied at West
Bruh.
Brom and losing wall up to Spurs. Dude, you guys looked horrible in the second half.
I think both teams deserve to drop out of the Carabao after that game, but whatever.
I mean, we didn't do anything bad though.
The second half was solid.
The thing is, we didn't even play bad in the first half. You guys had 2 shots and like 70% possession. So like, we were just defending really well.
You guys just made the game boring though. Like it's the Carabao. Can't we just have some fun? Like,
you guys were getting clammed by Eric Dyer, dude. Like more than we literally
clammed
won
by Eric Dyer.
Goal.
Clammed by everyone because you were defended with 8 men. Like it was just.
He literally left to go piss in the middle of the game. Like.
Welcome to episode 5 of the Bend It Like Bentner podcast, the show where we discuss anything and everything Premier League. Remember to follow us on Instagram at Bend It Like Bentner and Twitter at Bend It Like Bend1. I'm Jonathan, and I'm joined by Cutter.
Yo.
Joey.
Hello, hello.
And Sebastian.
What's good?
Okay, so today I should be the one that's depressed.
Yeah, for real.
Anyway, today we're going to be, as always, going over last week's games. We had a little Carabao Cup that we'll be touching on at the end, and of course looking forward. But I want to start with Manchester United versus Brighton. Cutter, I believe you had some thoughts.
Once again, my boys in blue got robbed. They should have 3 wins right now. They completely dominated that game. It was their game to win. And then they got, well, I wouldn't say they got given. United got given a free goal after time had already expired, which is a new one for me. You know, I don't think I've ever seen a penalty be given after the game's already ended. But welcome to VAR, the place where you can review some things and can't review others. That's what it seems to be to me. And also, my boy Jahan Box came off the bench and got 2 assists so far this year. Just gotta throw that out there. He's actually been pretty decent off the bench. But yeah, I don't know. I thought Brighton completely controlled that game. They're getting outclassed the entire time. I mean, it'll be showed by they had 18 shots compared to United's 7. Held more possession. Had 7 corners in comparison to United's 1 corner. I think Brighton's looked really good so far, and I think you guys look stupid for clowning me for saying they'd be good this year.
No, you look smart for a variety of things, but like I honestly don't think that's gonna. It'll probably last with Brighton. I don't see how it could last. Like your hot streak right now is pretty strong. Because you got like the Calvert-Lewin lead stuff going on.
Yeah.
But to get back to the game, I agree. The 18 shots to 7 shots kind of shows it all. And the fact that Brighton didn't even get a point is just baffling. Like, I mean, the thing is though, even though the ref obviously it was his fault that he brought the game back, or not even that he brought the game back. He let it run until like past the 96th minute, and it was supposed to go to the 95th minute.
5 minutes out of time, and the game was ended in like 96. It's like 96 minutes and like 30 seconds or something. Let it run an extra minute and a half. There was a goal, but
I don't even know why it was 5 minutes in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, but plus the handball was actually no, that was a legitimate handball. We'll get to some of the more sketchy handballs, but
It definitely was a handball.
On a whole, Man U didn't look impressive at all. I think they improved from last week. Bruno Fernandes definitely improved because in the first game, he was very poor.
Bruno Fernandes.
You could call him that. Although, Carter, would you even say he improved? Because he literally caused every goal in the game. He caused every goal that Man U scored, and he caused every goal that Brighton scored. So is that good or bad?
I don't know. He looked all right. I still, once again, as I was saying, I don't think he'll look as good as he did last year. The last 14 games we had of him last year, and he hasn't. Mm-hmm. I mean, he had a goal and an assist, but it's kind of fluky. I mean, he scored a penalty in the 100th minute, and he played a cross-field pass to Rashford. I mean, good pass, but I mean, you really called it an assist. It was mostly just a great finish. But I don't know. He caused a lot of mistakes in the back with both the goals.
I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, it's an open question whether he'll return to his form from last year, but I felt that he was. I felt he was pretty much
first 2 games.
in the second. It was so far ahead of the first game, and it was pretty much like maybe just a little bit under where he was last year. I thought it was a good game for him. The only thing is that on the first Brighton goal, obviously it was a penalty on his foul,
Yeah.
and then the second one he left him open. So that's not what you're like looking at Bruno for, but. At the same time, Man U fans must be like, "What the hell is this?"
You still need to expect him to be able to do those things. I mean, as an attacking player, one defensive mistake, okay. Obviously, he's an attacking player. You don't expect him to help out in the back.
Yeah.
But making 2 big errors like that is a little shaky at that. And those, I don't know.
No, I completely agree. But
Yeah.
Lamptey looked good again. He won.
Lamptey did look really good again.
He won a penalty for the second week in a row.
And again, I think Lallana's been really good for Brighton as well. I think he's looked solid for them.
Their
I
whole
love
team.
Their midfield clicks
Yeah.
so well. I mean, they lost Basuma to his acrobatic red card, but Arzate's looked really good. Trossard's looked good. Connolly's looked good. March played amazing in this game. He was completely eating up.
I think he got man of the match. Yeah.
Yeah, he completely ate Wan-Bissaka up. And he's supposed to be a defensive god at right back. Supposed to be the best defensive right back in the league, and he was going to eat in by my boy March. So, I don't know. Fluky win. Don't really think they deserved it.
Well, you make it sound like he was eating him up off the dribble, though. It was more like he was in the right place at the right time for some.
Yeah, but I mean,
crosses.
he was eating them up on
just for some context, yeah.
Yeah.
But
it was a very entertaining game to watch. Other than that, I will say that it was not boring like some of the other games we had this weekend. But
like some of the Carabao games.
Yeah. The next game, Palace Everton. Calvert-Lewin on my fantasy team. Told y'all he'd be a beast this year, and that team scored in every single game so far. Hummus again looked fantastic. Their back line has looked solid again. They all in all, they've been impressing me. And I don't know why you guys hate on Andre Gomez so much, because he again has been starting the number 10 role for them, and he's been really good for them.
He's a bum.
He's not a bum.
Is he actually playing the 10?
Yeah,
I thought he was more like an 8.
Yeah, he's more like, he drops back more. He's not really the 10.
He drops back more, but he plays the 10 role though in the midfield. He's the attacking midfielder.
I see him try to spray the ball, bro.
I mean, the person that comes in for him every game is Sigurdsson. I mean, obviously they both track back a little bit, but like their main reason for being in the squad is for the help in offense, not for their defensive capabilities.
No, I'm aware, but I've seen him on the ball. He tries to spray it out wide, and it doesn't work, bro. Like none of his passes were coming off. I don't know, bro.
I thought he was all right.
I just think he's a bum. And and just the fact that he gets replaced by Sigurdsson is even worse, though, because it's like absolutely no improvement. Sigurdsson is just as bad, if not worse.
He is kind of fallen off a lot, though. I will say that.
Not for sure.
Hey, you got to shout out Crystal Palace too, because if you think about it, Crystal Palace deserves to draw this game against a solid Everton side, because one of Everton's goals was that
penalty call. This one was the first of the very questionable calls.
Exactly.
Yeah, this one was horrible.
Roy Hodgson.
I don't know which one was worse. This one or the Dyer one, but they were both horrible calls, to the point where there's already been changes made for the rule.
Yeah.
How bad it was. Like, everyone's saying that they can't change rules midway through, but they've already gotten done it.
I think the worst one wasn't on this weekend. For me, the worst one was the one on Lindelof last week, because he was literally just running, and they called it 30 seconds later, and no one even thought it was a pen on the field.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think you can beat the whole play from the Tottenham game, though.
Yeah,
the handball and Newcastle's box to the play that got not Newcastle the free kick to Dyer's handball. Oh.
Yeah, you could say that's worse in totality, because that's 2 missed calls.
Yeah.
But I was just saying, one. What was the third?
The Dyer handball.
Oh, so
it would have been a handball. I mean, you can say that. I mean, then again, they did miss it because they had to get changed. So.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't like formally changed, but they just told them like calm down with that. Like,
Yeah, to ease up on it.
yeah.
They have
How
to though,
did
because they're gonna be calling so many handballs that aren't even handballs.
Yeah, so I was looking, and so far this year, there's been 6 handballs that led to penalties in the first 3 weeks of the season.
So
Last year,
ridiculous.
there was 16 in total.
That's
Right? It was
crazy.
16
And
or
and
it
it's
was
been
16 or 18.
3 weeks.
Either 16 or 18. I don't remember which one it was. It was one of the, no, it was or no, I'm stupid. It was 19. That's what it was. It was 19 in total last year. So if you take the average, it's one handball call every other week. Right now, we're averaging 2 a week. So the amount of handball penalties has gone up by 4 times.
Yeah. But the weird thing is that explains the handball penalties, but there's been a lot of penalties in general. I think they said there's been like,
Yeah.
do any of you guys remember the numbers? They were throwing them out there, like 20 something in the first 3 weeks, and last
Yeah.
year it was
I mean,
like 10.
I think Vardy scored 3 penalties already, right? So I think he scored 2
Definitely,
against
yeah,
City.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
The one before that.
Yeah, and you had one against West Brom, I think.
Yeah.
Leicester
we haven't
made Premier League history, first team to score 3 penalties in a match in Premier League history. That's how crazy it is.
So that proves how crazy penalties have been. Yeah. So moving on, we'll get.
But that's
to those
more of
games
like
in
a
little
fluke.
bit.
Like I don't know what the explanation
Oh
is for
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So the next game.
wait. Before we move on,
Well,
I want to know how the new signing did. How did Ezzy do?
Oh, in his first start, he looked pretty good.
Yeah, he looked
did.
First
lively.
start, he looked
Yeah, he
really
did
lively
okay.
down the wing. Took Schlupp's spot.
Okay.
Schlupp couldn't
And
play, but he looked good.
And then Decore and Allen, was it just the same old from them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same
Okay.
lineup. Same thing you expect from that team. It looked
Alright.
solid.
And I heard Hamas still performed.
Oh yeah, he was really good.
That's good.
It wasn't Everton's best performance of the season. I think their second game was probably their best overall performance, but they still look pretty solid again. And there's been the Crystal Palace team that's looked good all season so far. Well, I say all season. It's been 3 games, but Crystal Palace has been performing as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And one of the weirdest games of the weekend, West Brom Chelsea.
Do we have to talk about this one? I think they get it. They get the general idea at home.
That was a fantastic game. I remember I called you and I'm like, join the call, let's watch together.
Bro.
All of a sudden we see Thiago Silva just play them through on goal. I was just like, what is happening?
This game was all Cutter's fault. I just like to point that out. I don't know what you did. I don't know how. But as soon as you called me, West Brom scored 2 goals in a row.
2 goals
That
in 3
was
minutes.
insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess I'll give my
Robinson
take
went
on this damn game. In case you guys didn't see the highlights and couldn't see it for yourselves, in the first half, Chelsea's defense was terrible. Like, just absolutely terrible. I think they were watching Arsenal highlights before that game. Thiago Silva, the guy we brought in to strengthen the defense, was the worst one because he literally passed it straight to Callum Robinson. And credit to Callum Robinson because those weren't necessarily easy finishes. He put them away nice. I don't really have anything bad to say about Caballero, but Chelsea's defense in general was just unorganized, mistake prone as hell. And luckily in the second half, we basically said, all right, the best defense is offense. We took off our defenders, our defensive players, and we went at West Brom. We had all the possession, and we were able to get the 3 goals.
Yeah, brought on Azpilicueta and Hudson-Odoi for Kovacic and Alonso at the half.
Yeah.
And then brought on Giroud for Thiago Silva.
Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it worked out. I mean, I was with you guys on the call. I did not expect us to come back because it just looked so terrible. Like, how was I supposed to have any optimism? But
yeah, Chelsea have been really shocking so far this season.
Big
That's all I have to
facts.
say about them. They should not beat Brighton. That was kind of fluky. I feel like Brighton was a better team. We already talked about that. Lost to Liverpool and then tied West Brom. I mean, it's not looking too good for them right now. I mean, you better hope that Ziyech can save your season. Right now, the rest of your signings aren't looking like they're.
Honestly, though, going in the way I thought about it, going into this season, and I've said it previously, is that it would take time to gel. Right now, it's looking like it's going to take a lot of time to gel, but I'll give them the time. You know, we can make a comeback. It's only been 3 games. We don't have all the signings in yet. Like Ziyech and Chilwell didn't play against West Brom. Not that would have made that much of a difference, but we signed so many great players. they can't all be busts. Like right now, obviously they all look like busts, but
So yeah,
it's just not possible.
What's your opinion on Timo Werner so far?
Well, I think you guys were a little bit harsh, to be honest, because you guys were. I mean, I know you didn't mean it, but you guys were calling him like a League One player and stuff, like EFL League One.
Well, that was during the West Brom game. I mean,
That was during the game.
He was missing some sitters.
No, big facts.
The weird thing is that,
as I told you, he will not be leading the line for you guys, and he hasn't led the line yet.
He's struggling. He's struggling up top.
Well, I still maintain that he led the line against in the first game, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, what is there to say? He hasn't looked good. The only thing good about him is that Havertz looks worse, so you don't even really think about it much. Not against West Brom. Not against West Brom. Havertz looks better than Werner against West Brom, but in general, because Havertz didn't look too bad.
Callum Hudson-Odoi looks better than the both of them right now, bro.
Yeah, I would say at West Brom, our two best players were clearly Mount and Hudson-Odoi. Goals aside, there were some nice goals, but goals aside, in general.
Yeah, Mount continued to perform. I think he's been really good for you guys.
Yeah, no.
He's been playing good every single game.
I was about to say, when Ziyech comes back, who and say he goes straight to the starting lineup, who's going to drop? No way they drop Mason Mount. Even today,
Lampard's in love with Mount.
Yeah, I'm in love with that guy. He's playing so well. There's nothing wrong with his performances right now.
Don't forget
Pulisic.
Yeah, Pulisic.
So who's going to be in that front four when those two come back? I mean, you'd think it'd be Werner, Pulisic, Havertz, and Ziyech, but Werner hasn't really been performing up top. Tammy Abraham's been scoring goals for them, and then Werner hasn't looked like he can hold that front position by himself. I mean, they could play Pulisic at striker, but the chances of that really happening, I don't really see that happening. I feel like they want Werner to be that man up top for them, to be their number 9.
I could be wrong, but I think Werner will and can be the central number 9. That's just a personal belief. We haven't seen it yet, but I think in the who did we play in the first game? Oh yeah, Brighton.
Brighton.
Even if Loftus-Cheek was not playing striker. Loftus-Cheek was in behind him. Werner was basically alone up top, and he looked great. He just wasn't getting the service. I think that going forward, that's what we're going to see Werner playing, and ideally it would be a lineup of Ziyech, Havertz, Pulisic. But if Havertz has a couple more games where he's not performing, I don't think Lampard is a guy to mess around. He'll have no problem.
I mean, especially when he
putting Mount in.
That's competition, because Mount's been with him since Derby County, so
yeah,
they have a strong relationship right there.
And Hudson-Odoi is playing well too, so that's what you want at a top side, and Chelsea are trying to be a top side. You need competition.
Yeah, you want to see your fringe players overperforming and pushing your starters to work harder.
Just like Tammy against Barnsley as well.
Yeah, exactly. So next game of the weekend.
Wait, but there's one thing though, and I'm surprised you didn't bring this up.
Which?
Mateus Pereira looked great.
Oh yeah.
Again.
Oh, he looked great again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about it in my head. I just didn't say anything, but he's a baller. He's had a goal every game so far this year. I'm pretty sure.
Also, Chelsea was so bad against West Brom. Those were Callum Robinson's second and third goals that he's ever scored in the Premier League.
Brom.
That's who was scoring on him. Anyway, yeah, we can move on.
Yeah. So
Please,
Southampton, Burnley.
Am I the only one that watched this game?
You're the only one that watched it. I just watched Danny Ings' goal, and that's about it.
No.
Nice
at the
goal.
beginning of the game, Southampton were going off. Right away, they had a good play. Kyle Walker-Peters made a good pass to Che Adams, who knew where Danny Ings was, which led to the goal. And then after that goal, it still kind of favored Southampton until half. But after half, it was 50-50, leaning more towards Burnley. Burnley were attacking McCarthy, attacking the Southampton goal, but they never found the breakthrough. And there were no VAR calls this game, nothing crazy.
Yeah, I had the second half of the game. I had I forgot what I was doing. I was doing something. Like the game just looked boring. I saw Burnley have a couple close chances with Wood and Vidra, but
Peters had a good shot too.
Yeah,
they're left back, but
same. I had it in the background, and it didn't entice me at all.
Yeah,
It,
it just looked
was
like a boring mid-table
it
side
was a
game.
boring game. It wasn't
It
nothing
looked
crazy.
like a Burnley Swansea type game, where it's just like a boring night out with two mid-table teams fighting for their lives.
That's a
At the end
throwback
of the
with
day,
Swansea.
Southampton got the points.
Yeah, big boys Swansea. I mean, Danny Ings scored again, third goal so far this year. He's not doing too shabby.
That's
Keeping
very
his goal
important for
his
them.
goal record up.
That's great.
So respect to him for that.
Is he in the England side right now?
Yeah,
He was in the last time.
he got called up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm. England have too many good players for like. I think they need to get Southgate out. I know this is a little bit of a detour, but I think they need to get Southgate out and like they need to perform at this Euros because they have so much talent. I mean, they always do. Like, I'm not saying anything new, but
I mean, I think Southgate is fine with them. I think I followed them heavily during the World Cup. When was that? 2 years ago? 3 years ago. Wait, no. Was it 2 years? Yeah,
2
2
years
years
ago.
ago. Followed them heavily. I love the way they were playing. I feel like they're
Really?
struggling to figure out who the best 11 is that work together well.
Yeah,
you love the way they played in that World Cup.
I watched every England World Cup game, and the games where I liked the lineup and they gelled well. They played amazing, but there were some games like the Croatia game where they didn't gel very well and they played kind of sloppily.
Also, the first game they played, that 2-1 win they had, with literally Harry Kane scoring 2 tap-in headers or a tap-in and then a header at the end. They didn't look too good that game.
that was
They didn't look
ugly,
too
bro.
good that game either.
Well,
no.
I didn't watch as many as you, but I watched a few England games that World Cup, and I completely disagree. I didn't think they looked good. I thought they were lucky to get to the semis.
Well, you got to remember who was in that team still. You still had a developing Rashford. You had a developing Sterling. You had Harry Kane. You had Dele Alli, who was that's when his decline started. Was that World Cup? You had Henderson and Dyer, who at that point in time was when Dyer was at a very low point in his career. Then he played good in that World Cup. You had Henderson before he was really on the come up. You had competition with you had Trippier on the right wing back, and he played amazing in that World Cup. He was
That's a good
player.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I mean,
that it was a
very
young
developing
squad.
team at that point. It was very developing. They were playing Kyle Walker at center back with Maguire and John Stones. And off the left, they were playing Danny Rose and Bertrand. So
you're right that it's a young
that point
squad.
In time, that team has improved a lot. I mean, I don't think Henderson wasn't even starting in that team, and I mean now you'd think Henderson would be set in stone in that lineup.
Yeah, perhaps. But my only thing is that.
What would you guys say is England's best midfield?
What formation do they play? Yeah, exactly.
Depends if they're playing a 3-back or a 4-back.
Let's say they do the 3-back, because I think that's what I've been seeing recently. So give them the 2 midfielders. Who would you guys put?
Calvin Phillips.
Phillips and Henderson, probably.
Probably, yeah.
At holding.
All right.
Well, the thing is, when they played the back three in the World Cup, they played a 3-1-4-2. Actually, one holding midfielder.
I'd have Declan Rice over Jordan Henderson, to be honest. I think he's a better player.
I think that's what they did recently against Denmark, and they tied 0-0.
Well, but that was a game where they played they played 3 holding midfielders in that game.
Yeah,
so
did you see what their lineup was? Let me find that lineup. That lineup was horrendous.
No, they didn't play 3. They had 2, but it was a back 5 and 2 holding midfielders, if I remember correctly.
No, they were playing 3. I'm pretty sure, or like they had like 3 midfielders and like I know they were like defensive minded.
So the UEFA Nations League. Okay, yeah, I have it right here. So they played Sterling, Kane, and Sancho up top. They played Trippier off the left, Phillips and Rice, Alexander-Arnold, and then they're playing Trippier at left wing back, which says it all. And the back three was Dyer, Cody, and Gomez.
Yeah, so, in the middle it was just 2. It was Phillips and Rice, right?
Phillips and Rice. Okay. But I feel like the 3-1-4-2 suits them better. To get all those players into that lineup, because I mean I feel like you would like to be able to see Sterling, Kane, Sancho, and Rashford all in the lineup.
Of course.
I don't know. That's just
that'd be nice
but
to watch.
I have a deeper point about England, though. I feel that I've never really seen them play a good brand of football. I don't think they played a good brand in the World Cup, and the last Nation League friendlies were they were much worse than the World Cup. Like they were hard to watch.
I agree.
And I think that's something that they need to change.
I mean, you even look at the bench. You players like Jack Grealish, Mason Mount.
Which is exactly why they shouldn't be accepting this performance.
Tammy Abraham. without Jimmy Vardy and Rashford even in the squad.
Vardy
Right.
retired.
No Kyle Walker in the squad. No Danny Rose or Bertrand in the squad.
But you're making my point though. Like they need to
There's
perform
so much
to
talent
the
on this
level of
team.
that talent. They perennially underperform, and I mean several managers have tried it. So I'm not really dogging on Southgate, but like they need to try something new. In my opinion.
I mean, I would like what's his name? Old Bournemouth coach got fired.
Eddie Howe.
Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
But
I would like to see Eddie Howe go there because Bournemouth played good football.
That's not a bad shout. That's not a bad shout.
Yeah.
I've seen him been linked with it before. I don't know if it'll end up happening or not, but I feel like that he could bring a good brand of football to
it'll
that team.
honestly depend on what happens in the Euros this year, and we still have 8 months till the Euros.
Yeah.
But right now, who would you guys put as the front 3 or 4? Because I know for a fact that I'd have Mason Mount starting.
In that England team?
England team, 100%. The way he's playing right now is superb.
I don't think I'd put Mount over
if you had
Grealish.
Mason Mount playing, Jack Grealish is on the bench. Or Jadon Sancho's on the bench.
Jack Grealish has been playing really well, too. I'd have Grealish over Mount.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'd have Grealish over Mount as well. I mean, I'd like to see them play a 4-back with, I don't know who the best center backs on this team are. I mean,
that's the weakness of the team. That's the weakness of the team.
Well, I think Dyer has looked really solid so far this year, personally. I think he made one mistake in the Southampton game with the Danny Ings over the top.
Dyer, they need to do better than Dyer. He's not reliable.
Well,
they have Connor Cody.
But look, I mean, the goals that have been scored on Spurs this season.
Their best back two is probably Connor Cody and Maguire.
It's been 2 penalties.
No way.
2 penalties, a free kick, and then the Danny Ings over the top 2 ball. So in 3 games,
but I mean, look at last season. Like, I think they can do better than Dyer. Who would you put him over, Maguire and Cody?
Over Maguire, yeah. I'm taking Dyer over Maguire any day of the week. The only competition I think he would be having is maybe Michael Keane.
I think Maguire.
Tyrone Mings.
Joe Gomez is good.
I think Joe Gomez is in that squad, but the other one either has to be Dyer, Keane, Tyrone Mings.
Cody. Oh, no, I like Tyrone Mings.
I like Tyrone Mings as well.
I think that Harry Maguire has gone from overrated to underrated.
Is Kyle Walker still in the squad?
He was not in the last squad.
Oh, really?
Because I heard something happened to him and he got kicked off like the team or something like that. Like, I don't know what happened, but I don't know. I don't think he's gotten called up in a while.
Yeah,
but they should really focus on that golden generation. Kind of like Belgium, 5 years ago?
They have the attacking talent to do that.
Yeah, but bro, Sancho, they're nasty though.
And they have the next unit behind that with guys like Foden, Hudson-Odoi, Greenwood. I think that unit is going to be even better. Well, maybe not better. Sterling, Kane, Sancho is pretty strong.
That team will be the generation that has Harry Kane in it.
Yeah. Well, Sancho is in that generation though with Greenwood, so.
Yeah, you could say Sancho's that generation. I mean, he's 20. I mean, Kane. It's not like Kane's old. I mean, he's only 27. I mean,
he's in his prime. He's in his prime. He's in his prime.
A striker of his kind, you don't really hit a prime until 28, 29. I mean, you could see him going the way that he plays. He doesn't rely on pace whatsoever.
No, not at all.
He's not a slow player. He has a bit of acceleration to him, more than people would think, but he does not rely on his pace whatsoever to get goals.
No.
Which makes you think that he could be a lethal goal threat until 33, 34, similar to Aguero.
Especially with the service of Sterling, Sancho, Rashford, soon to be Foden, soon to be Greenwood,
Foden,
Grealish,
Mount,
Mason Mount,
Trent, and Trippier.
Yeah, but there's some players that can still do it at 32 and they don't play for international. So you can't really count on them in terms of that.
Yeah, so let's get a little bit back on topic.
Yeah.
We had our quick little England rant. Yeah, so next game we have is Leeds Sheffield, which I think I was the only one up for this game.
Yeah.
It was a 7 a.m. game for all of us, but I was up. I watched the whole thing. It was a decent game. Leeds missed a lot of chances. Sheffield were missing some chances, but I mean, Leeds pulled through with Patrick Bamford had so many headers, he just barely hit over. But again, their pressing looked good. Their defense looked solid for once.
And the one that he put in.
They weren't making a ton of mistakes in the back. They played a very different lineup. It was kind of interesting. I mean, they played Dallas at Cam. They played a back three.
What? They played Dallas at Cam? So they played their
left
left
attacking mid.
back in attacking mid.
Left attacking mid. It was very
Wow.
weird. It was a very weird lineup. They played a 3-1-4-2, which is the England lineup or the England formation. I mean, they played it more efficiently than England would. Because they also still had their rotation that was really solid.
Did they dominate the game?
They held possession for most of the game. I mean, what was their possession stat? 64%.
They didn't score until like the 87th, 88th minute,
They
right?
missed a lot of close chances.
I saw that Sheffield had some chances too, though.
Sheffield did have a couple of chances as well. McGoldrick had a couple of chances. I remember really vividly. Baldock and Stevens looked good, both wing backs. But
Harrison with a nice assist to Bamford.
Yep.
To Bamford again, every game with the goal.
Every game he has scored so far.
And he hasn't scored with his strong foot once.
I mean, he doesn't look like your typical striker. He looks like he looks like a championship player. Just if you just look at him, like he doesn't look like a Premiership. But yeah, I'm not even trying to be rude, but I mean he looks solid so far.
Jack
he looks like he has
he
the want to score. And those aren't really things you can teach someone. It's things you're born with. And so yeah, I thought he's been looking really good so far.
He was amazing against Fulham. That I have to say.
Yeah, he was. I mean,
hey, you know why he's that good?
Every game.
You know why Bamford's so good? Because he came from Chelsea.
Yeah, so we're not talking about that anymore. Just moving on. I don't want to hear you talk about him anymore. The most controversial game of the weekend, something that caused a lot of talks on some rule changes. We had Spurs versus Newcastle, where it's probably one of the first times I've ever seen a team have one shot on target and get a point out of the game because a team that had 12 shots on target. Shout out to Jack Darlow because he had I think he had something crazy like 14 saves.
Yeah,
I never kept the
game.
Wow.
We should have been more clinical. A lot of us had to go in right at him, but he was having some good quick reaction saves.
How many times did he hit the bar?
Son hit the post twice, the bar and the post.
Yeah.
I
think we hit it 3 times in total.
Okay, never mind.
Did we hit another time? I don't know. It might have been. It's either 2 or 3 times. I don't remember. But I think Lucas Moura was. Talking about Spurs first. Lucas Moura was the worst player on that team today for me. Not today, well, it was Sunday, but in that game, he was the worst player on the team for me. Actually,
yeah.
Let me talk about Bergwijn did nothing when he came on for Son. That really let us down a lot. The outlet that Son had for us was he was playing incredible. He was having one of it. I think Son was probably having one of his better games of the season. It might have even been better than the 4-goal showing. Just the way he was playing and the positions he was getting himself into, he was playing incredible. Kane looked really good. Lo Celso looked good. Holzberg probably had his best game of the season for us.
Yeah,
he looked solid. Winks was passing the ball forward. We were playing the ball out of the back. It was really
an
impressive first half. It was a miracle. Darlow was making great saves constantly. He had a crazy double save. I don't know if you guys saw it off a Lo Celso corner. Solid save, got up and saved Kane's close range shot.
Yeah.
I mean, Kane probably should have put it away.
At the beginning of the game, yeah.
Yeah. But it was still a very good save. And then we get to the 92nd minute, and Kane goes across the ball in, and I'm pretty sure it was Lascelles' arm. Hits Lascelles in the arm. Tottenham slightly complained about it. Doesn't go to VAR.
Tanky looked like he complained so much, though. It was Ndombele was the one who crossed it. Yeah. He was complaining hella, but
that's a different one. That's a different one.
Oh, okay.
That was like 5 minutes earlier.
Oh, okay.
In the 92nd minute, Kane crossed it, hits Lascelles in the arm. They somewhat complained about it. Doesn't even go to VAR. Either did the Ndombele one. They clear the ball. Joelinton does a dolphin dive into Holzberg, and the ref isn't even paying attention, but he calls a free kick, even though he seems to not be paying attention because my man literally did a dolphin dive into our player and got a free kick for it. Don't know what he was even trying to do. I'll link the clip in the bottom because it is just the worst thing I've ever seen anyone do in my life. I don't know what he was trying to do, but he managed to get a free kick for it. They get the free kick, they cross it in, and Andy Carroll heads straight into Dyer's arm. It looks like he was even trying to head it towards goal or towards one of his teammates. It just looked like he was aiming for his arm. And they don't call it first. They go to VAR. They look at it for like 4 minutes, and they get a penalty, and they score in the 97th minute as their first shot on target.
Yeah. And with that being said, and continuing with the penalty, you could see that I think it was either Hayden or Lascelles kind of gave Dyer a little nudge, which made him lose his balance. And how is it possible for one to lose their balance midair and not try and regain it with their arms?
Yeah.
And also just continuing with the handball rule, if I go to the Chelsea game last week where they tied to West Brom, or this past weekend, and that ball hit Havertz's hand and led to a goal, how could something like that stand?
That wasn't a mistake. The thing with that is that the rule is if it touches your hand and then the goal scores immediately after, and it touched his hand and then Mount got the assist.
Because last year, I wish Case was here for this. Tottenham had the game against Man City, and it was literally 90 minutes on, and it was a corner for City. The ball came in, the ball barely hit Laporte's arm. It led to Jesus, and Jesus scored. So I'm with what you said, that does sound different now, but still, it's a hand leading to a goal.
But didn't they clear it out after it hit Havertz's hand? Like they cleared it. It was like a poor clearance, and then Chelsea got it back. So I wouldn't say that's like immediately. Like, I mean, obviously it sucks that they scored off of a handball, but
it wasn't a handball though, because his arm was in a natural position. Like
it was definitely a handball, but it didn't lead up to the goal. So that's what.
If his wasn't a handball, what was the one on Joel Ward against Everton for Palace?
That shouldn't have been a handball either, but
if anything, the Joel Ward one, like his arm was outstretched, so like I could see why they would call it, even though it was stupid. But like, I don't know.
Remember, the rule is stupid, but the rule isn't if it touches your hand at all. The rule still has like some logic to it. Havertz's arm was completely in; it was in a natural position.
Dyer's arm was in a natural position, so was Ward's.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, which we all agree that those calls were stupid. I'm just saying,
the two main issues I have with it are consistency, or three things. Consistency, as in there was two clear. You're going to call the Dyer one. There's two clear handballs on Newcastle in the exact same game that were not called. Both were in less natural positions than the Dyer one. Dyer's one, he was jumping up for a cross and put his arms up, which any player who's ever played football in their life knows that is. You just do that to protect yourself from other players jumping into you. Lascelles one, he had his hands stretched out in front of him, and then the Ndombele handball, the guy had his arm reaching forward. None of them were natural. Neither of those were natural positions. If they were less natural than the one the Dyer was in. That's the first issue is consistency. The second one is what is the rule?
It's stupid.
Well, what is the actual rule? Is it if it hits your hand, or is it if it hits your hand when it's in a natural position? What classifies a natural position? The third rule is what can you overturn with VAR, and what are the limits to it? As in, with the Havertz one, you're not going to overturn that because it didn't lead to a goal, but there's a goal.
It also just wasn't a handball in general.
Of there being a goal, but in another sense, you can't overturn the Lascelles one because they didn't even go to look. They didn't even go and look at it, but you're allowed to overturn the Dyer one. So like, it's just kind of like. Where's the line drawn?
They're both unintentional. If you're not going to call the Havertz one, then you can't call the Dyer one. Like,
you can't call the Lascelles one. And there's no consistency to it.
And what I don't understand about the league is that every game has their own VAR official. I don't understand how it's not just one like center, like I think the NBA does it, or literally every other league, and it's just the consistency, like you said. It could be the variance of opinions between referees because it is a different VAR official every game. But just come on now, they should figure it out.
I get that they're only want to use VAR for game-changing decisions, but you'd think this would be a game-changing decision, whether or not Lascelles had a handball, whether or not that free kick should be given or not, and whether or not the Dyer thing should be. If the Dyer thing is a handball, well, the free kick led to it. How did they get the free kick? Well, it wasn't really a foul. Okay, well, right before this, there was a handball. Well, there should have been a penalty right there already. So, like, how far back in VAR is the VAR allowed to go? And, like, it's just kind of, it's shaky. Like, there's no real set rule to it. Like, at least as someone that's just watching it as a fan of the game, there's no, like, as for us watching it, we don't really understand what's going on. Like, we don't know, like, what the limits are. So for us, it's just so frustrating.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw the Arsenal game, but the third goal that Liverpool scored, Like it hit Jota's arm.
Yeah, I know. I was saying I was on a call with like 14, 15 people, and I called it out. The second half, and I said handball, and then they're like, huh? Because then they scored, and we watched the replay, and we're like, oh yeah, that was definitely a handball. So like, why was that one not called?
And it doesn't even like it goes to VAR, but it goes to VAR for like 2 seconds, and they say, "Oh, check complete."
Yeah.
Like I think the center ref should be like going to the screen like that's on the pitch and like doing
No,
the
no,
check.
no. I disagree with that. I don't like when the ref goes. That delays the game too much.
No,
You don't need to
but
be that. You don't. It doesn't have to be to that extent. But the people that do the VAR checks are other Premier League refs. So it's not like it's just like some random old guy. But it's actually a different ref who's not
And
refing the game. They're on the VAR
also,
for that game.
go back to the Manchester United game. Like if it hits Maupay in the hand, the guy that's on VAR should be telling the center ref like, "Don't blow the whistle, don't blow the whistle, don't blow the whistle." Like he should be like screaming to him for not to blow the whistle because like it's a handball and he calls the game, and then there's still like actions that occur after the whistle. So it's like I don't know. There should just be better communication.
you're right. You should see what it's like the offside rule. You let the offside go, and then if they, and then after the play ends, they lift the flag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a
Do you
lot
guys
of people
like
are having
that?
issues with that, but I don't think that's too bad. I really like the sense that they let play continue, like just like play on. Like like when I'm reffing a lot, if there's a foul and the other team keeps the ball, I let them play the advantage. Like just keep playing. A lot of people are complaining. A lot of announcers I hear them say like, "Oh, what are you supposed to do?" Like blah blah blah. But like, well, if it's offsides and it leads to them having some kind of scoring opportunity, it gets called back, and it's no big deal. But it could lead to you having a great counterattack after they overcommit on an offsides play, and you wouldn't want that getting called back. So it's like, just keep playing. I don't really understand the whole big deal with that.
Aren't you supposed to not call advantage on any offsides though?
But that's the new rule is that they're having them call advantage with offsides. That's kind of like a new thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's the
I've
whole
been
point of
seeing
the new
happen a
rule.
lot.
That's the point of the new rule. Is so they
Also,
can play advantage.
also
The rule makes sense.
during
That
the
makes sense.
Tottenham game, when the official went to go look at the screen, it literally just showed Andy Carroll hitting the ball into Dyer's hand. It didn't show anything prior to that. It literally just
That's all they look at.
showed
They didn't look at
Eric
anything else.
Dyer's hand out and Carroll just heading it onto him. Like nothing before that, nothing after that, and it's just stupid.
Yeah, I thought it was all really, really stupid. I didn't really understand what was going on there.
But before we move on to the next game, we're all in agreement that the Havertz, the Dyer, the one in the Everton game, none of those should have been penalties, right?
Yeah, they shouldn't be penalties.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid.
Okay. And the rule is unclear. But luckily,
100%.
although now it's going to be even more unclear because they're literally just saying like tone it down, like.
Yeah, they're saying tone it down, but there's no actual rule.
So it's going to be toned down, which is good. But on the other hand, it might even be more frustrating because we don't even know what's going on.
It's going to be super inconsistent. There's no rule for it.
Exactly.
Now the rule is just if you didn't get the handball, call it a handball. If you don't, well.
I think that's the
Up to you.
biggest problem with IFAB, the people that make the rules. Like it's hard to make the handball rule. We all get mad at them, but I don't think it's an easy thing. I think the thing that they're at fault at is they have no mechanism to change it this season. Like this entire season, we're gonna have to have this dumb rule, and we're just telling the refs like, nah, just do whatever you want. The rule's that dumb. But anyway, the next game is Manchester City versus Leicester City, and that game was just phenomenal, I thought.
That was a fun game to watch.
Yeah, the goals specifically, like obviously, yeah. I think every goal that wasn't a pen and the late Ake header, every other goal was spectacular, and that word can be overused, but I really mean it.
Madison's goal was so nice.
So nice.
Yeah. I don't know if I said it on camera or off camera, but I said I think Leicester and Brighton were both going to win this weekend. And I mean, I got the Leicester one right. Brighton one I got wrong, but I feel like I should have got it right. But I was really surprised with how Leicester set up. I mean, they threw Marty into the
Brighton.
team. What?
You definitely
I know I said
Brighton.
Brighton on camera 100%. But
Marty,
they put Marty in his first time playing a game in 2 years. He came in and put in an absolute shift. And that was the first time we've seen him play at back five, and they looked amazing on the counterattack. Like they looked better than Crystal Palace would. Harvey Barnes and Pratt were dominating them, like destroying, like bringing the ball up, and obviously Vardy was
Yeah.
clinical from the spot.
You know,
He
I'm
had a
glad.
great finish.
Oh, that finish was class.
So
Yeah.
fast. I'm glad you started there because I think most people would focus on Man City because we've seen them in the past have similar defensive woes. But Leicester actually played great. Like some of those goals. I mean, obviously, you give up 3 penalties. That's you got to talk about that. Like that's an issue.
I mean, two of the penalties
But
were goal scoring opportunities they probably were about to score.
yeah,
One of
because
them was just a really stupid foul in the corner of the box
yeah.
for no reason whatsoever.
But
Yeah,
the thing is,
Walker one.
Vardy he shouldn't just get the credit for scoring the penalties. He should get the credit for creating them too, because he was making good runs, and
Oh,
he was
yeah.
specifically on that first one. He created a overload on the left side, and Walker had to shift in, and he was a little bit, or he wasn't even late, but he was just a little bit hesitant, and then he shouldn't have kicked him, but that's where the foul originated from was Vardy's movement. Vardy's movement the whole game was just great to watch.
He's just a pest, bro. He's such a
Yeah,
pest.
He's a
exactly.
one to play against. Him and Son, I feel bad for anyone that has to come up against them too, because they are so smart off the ball, the runs that they make in behind defenders.
Yeah.
And it sucks that Vardy's now, 35 years old?
33.
33, oh.
So
So,
he doesn't even look like, you see him play and you wouldn't think that he's 33. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. You see Thiago
Looks like
Silva play, and you think he's 66.
You can tell he's 35.
You could tell, yeah, you could tell he's on the decline. He's been on the decline.
Yeah.
Some people were saying he was the second best center back in the league. I don't know who that was, but I'm pretty sure I heard that on this panel.
I didn't hear that anywhere. I don't know what you're talking
No,
about.
Johnny,
no.
I'm pretty sure you were saying that he might be one of the best signings of the year. So.
I did, but I don't remember anyone saying he was the second center back of the second best center back in the league.
Not. I remember we were talking about Van Dijk and who is better than him. I feel like Thiago Silva's name might have been mentioned in that conversation.
I don't know, but
name being said. But
I'll give him time. I have hope in Thiago Silva. He's a class player. We'll see.
Yeah.
He looks terrible now, but
yeah,
It's not France anymore.
it's not France.
He needs to adjust.
Yeah, all right, but come on, he played good in the Champions.
Yeah, I will say another assist for Castagne. He has looked incredible.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Big signing.
That play was great. The one where Tielemans found that ball to him.
Oh, Tielemans, another. Poof, he is impressive. He looked like the wonder kid he was in Football Manager 2012.
Dude, even his penalty, it's the way he kicked it, bro. That knuckle, the no spin at all, was crazy cool to watch.
Yes, I know. I saw that. That was.
I like Vardy's penalties actually because he just bangs them. I always like his penalties.
Yeah.
Vardy looks like he's like a U9 just toe poking the ball. That's what it looks like when he gets penalties. He's blasting as hard as he can.
Actually, I just like the way Vardy shoots in general because that's basically his style. He just hits it with power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does. But on
that goal that we were just referencing with Castagne, I do have to point out that Mendy was a bit at fault with that because I watched it on the replay and Mendy wasn't marking him at the time. I think he was marked by Foden, but Castagne starts sprinting and he sprints straight past Mendy, and Mendy doesn't even flinch, and when you see at the end where Castagne is passing the ball in, Mendy's not even touching the 18-yard box. That's how far he is, and he's just jogging.
Yeah, I don't fully understand why Man City have now spent. How much did they spend on Ake? Like 50?
220?
And now 60?
No, 400.
No, 50 on Ake and 60 on Ruben Diaz.
I thought you were talking about in total.
110 mil on center backs, and they still haven't thought, you know what, maybe we should replace Mendy.
Right.
They need to be trying to replace him at this point.
That shows what they think about Laporte. So that means they think he's going to continue to be injury prone, and they're trying to set up that Diaz-Ake connection.
Yep.
Which should be nice, but
I feel like they pay too much, bro. They could have just gotten like Upamecano for like way cheaper. And I don't know. I've never seen Diaz play, so what I've seen
Yeah,
from Upamecano was class.
100%.
Oh,
That
Marcano's so
Atletico
good.
game in the Champions League was like you don't normally notice center backs that much, but he
No,
was
but
so noticeable
he
in that
stood
game.
out. He stood out.
Yeah, he was like almost controlling that game from the back with his passing, and he was in control on the defensive end too. But
Here, anyone wants to talk about Man City's performance as a team from this game?
Well, Mars's goal was nasty.
That was a great
Oh,
that
finish.
was nice. That's what I'm saying.
And
The goals were insane.
well, yeah, well, it was weird because after that goal, it looked like Leicester's gotten themselves into one now. Like it looks like they're gonna be struggling in this game,
Yeah,
and they just completely turned it around.
I
Scored,
didn't
what was it?
I didn't think City played.
Four unanswered goals.
Yeah, four on it, or was it even? No, yeah, it was four.
Four.
But I didn't think City played that bad in the first half. I know they conceded on the defense. They were bad the whole game. But
Oh, no, yeah, they were getting caught out on the counter over and over again. I worry for them playing against like I don't want to toot our horn, but a team like either Tottenham or Crystal Palace, who it looks like they against those types of teams, they're just going to counterattack the entire game. And I don't know, bro. Like they look like they can get eaten apart. Like if Spurs sitting back against City,
or even
with
Arsenal,
Bale came with or like with Bale came
like that,
and
like
Son
the FA
running
Cup
at
game.
them, they'll get eaten. Yeah, that game as well. Like they look like they cannot defend against the counter. I mean, you'd think playing Fernandinho and Raji should be helping them defend on the counter and allow their fullbacks to get up and not have to worry about that kind of stuff. But the gap between their midfield and their defense is so big. I don't really understand. Their positioning was just horrible. Like the communication between the defense and the midfield was killing them the entire game. I don't know what the big issue was there. I mean, I wasn't analyzing it hard enough, but
They just
that's just where
haven't
they kept
figured
getting
out.
beat. There were so many 3v3 or 3v2 situations
Yeah,
over and over and over again with poor Ake Garcia and either Mendy or Walker versus Vardy, Barnes, and Prite, or Vardy, Barnes, and Castagne, or Justin, like any of those five players versus three City players constantly. And it kept happening, especially in the first half, like over and over and over again.
I
And
think they just haven't figured out how to effectively defend a counterattack as a unit.
yeah,
And
it
Leicester
reminded me a
figured
lot
out how
of
to counterattack them.
the lead Liverpool game and how Liverpool's getting eaten by the counterattack as well.
Yeah, which that alone shows that like you can have great individual defenders, but you need to have a unit that knows how to deal with that.
Yeah,
And Leeds and Leicester, to their credit, were it was some of counterattacking at its finest.
yeah. Little play out of the back quickly was just fantastic. The fast, quick play, which is what made that Liverpool Leeds game so good, was the fast build-up play constantly by both teams playing a similar style of football.
I
So
thought this was a better game. I thought this, or maybe it was more the second half because the first half was actually more of like a typical City game. They were possessing it a lot. But although we haven't talked about that, on the other side, they actually weren't being that penetrative, and the commentators kept bringing up if maybe the loss of David Silva had something to do with it because they had the ball the whole
Yeah.
time. Yeah, De
also
Bruyne was his
Silva,
normal
but
self.
it
But
might be the loss of the fact that Sterling's playing at striker. They have no Aguero, no Bernardo Silva,
yeah,
um,
Bernardo Silva
no
would
Sane.
feel that
I mean,
100%.
obviously Sane didn't really play last year, but still, I mean, missing Aguero, Sane, and Bernardo Silva, I think, is a big thing. I think it's a big difference.
That's true, but you would think that they would be fine with Mahrez, Foden, De Bruyne. Sterling was out of position, but that didn't seem to be enough. I mean, I personally would have thought that they would be fine, and they clearly weren't.
Well, the big way that City plays is the penetrating between the center back and the fullback with
Yeah,
those passes in
100%.
between there with cutbacks into the box. And with Mahrez and Foden as their two quote-unquote wingers, that's not really a natural position for Foden to make runs behind the fullback, which is what Sterling and Sane would always do. Then they runs behind the fullback. De Bruyne or Bernardo Silva plays the ball in between the center back and the fullback to them. They bring up the line, cut back, finish. That's how they score almost all of their goals. Is that type of play? They switch over the ball around and around and around, find that through pass between a fullback and a center back. Someone cuts back, finish, goal. That's what they always do. And Mars is more of an interior player. He's not someone that's going to make those runs behind the defense. He's someone that will be making overlapping runs, not really underlapping. And Foden is not really a winger. I don't really consider him, or even like an outside forward. Like that's not really the type of role he should be playing. He's more of a De Bruyne type role player, where he plays to the middle and he picks out that pass. So I feel like having to play Sterling at striker hurt them a lot because they didn't have a player as an outlet to play the ball through to. That's what I was really seeing a lot. I mean, you saw Walker trying to do that with the runs he makes. I don't know. I feel like it wasn't working out as well.
And we've seen them play with Sterling and striker in the past, and it looks similar. That they don't play as well with Sterling at striker. There was a similar thing in the past where Chelsea used to try Hazard at striker because we didn't have a good striker, and that didn't work out at all either.
When Sterling last year, I don't remember there being a time where Jesus and Aguero were both injured. Sterling wasn't really playing striker last year. It was more.
He did a couple of times. I don't remember why.
Yeah, but it was more 2 seasons ago. He played a little more at the number 9 role, but that was still when they had Sane playing almost.
Could have been 2 seasons ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was Sane playing, and David Silva. So they had the players to fulfill those roles that they needed. So when David Silva can make those overlapping runs with those cutbacks, he's more of an essential player, but he can play as more of an outside player as well.
Yeah.
In comparison to Foden, who doesn't do that, and even Mars I don't even consider Mars as much of an outside player. He's more of an inside forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I really saw from the game as being a big issue with the penetration type of thing. I mean, you saw it. We'll have to talk about it in a little bit. You saw that same issue in the Tottenham-Chelsea game today. Chelsea was just passing the ball around the outside of the 18. There's nothing they could do. They had no way of penetrating them. And again, the reason would be the Pulisic. Hudson-Odoi came on for a little bit, but Pulisic and Ziyech on those wings, or Willian, someone they probably almost miss, which they hate him, is to have that outlet to make those runs behind the back four, to open up space with those runs into the edge of the 6. So I feel like that was a big issue for them in that game.
Yeah, we miss him now. We won't miss him soon though. And then
yeah.
And to wrap up, I just want to go back because I feel like we didn't spend quite enough time on how remarkable it is that City gave up 3 penalties. Like, no matter how good Leicester played, like you can't give all stupid fouls because none of them were sure goals. And in my opinion, that's the only time.
Maybe one of them. Maybe the Garcia one.
You think? Well,
yeah,
okay. Well, maybe one, but still, the other 2, no, because they were both near the edge of the box. Especially the Mendy one was so dumb.
Mendy one was horrible.
Because City's defense was back.
The one you could say, maybe, but yeah, the Mendy one was just horrible.
Really bad. No, I think the Walker. Oh yeah, the Walker one could have been a good opportunity, but still, you shouldn't be giving away a penalty for that.
That was still on the brink. You shouldn't be giving that away.
And he should have. He was there. He should have stepped in for the interception. But he let it run through, and then he had to foul him.
Yeah.
But anyway, we can
going over.
Yeah.
Just so we can speed up a little bit. Quickly going over the West Ham Wolves game. That one I did not watch any of this game. I haven't even watched the highlights, but just.
Neither did I.
I didn't watch the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sebastian.
Wolves got destroyed.
Yeah, no, big facts.
It's kind of surprising. I did not expect to see West Ham score 4 goals
Extremely
in one
surprising.
game. And for them to score 4 goals in one game against Wolves, who is typically a solid defensive team. I don't know. I mean, Semedo played. I don't know if that was the issue, but
might be. Wolves just got it all wrong, bro.
Well, 2 of the goals came from Bowen, which is on the right side, so it probably wasn't Semedo. But I'd actually heard a lot about Bowen and hadn't really seen it. He had a class game from what I saw.
He was on a whole. I think it was 2 years ago he came in.
I mean, we can move on. Like you said, they got destroyed. We didn't watch much of it, but Wolves will probably bounce back, and West Ham will probably bounce back downwards. So.
yeah. Back to reality. I mean, you'd think it'd be an off one game. You don't really know for sure, but
Yeah.
I don't know. You'd assume for it to be an off one game.
Obviously, if it happens again, that's pretty concerning.
Yeah.
Or on the flip side, if West Ham have a good game next weekend,
Continues their. But I mean, West Ham's first 2 games. I mean, they didn't look horrible against Arsenal, but we'll get to Arsenal. I still don't think Arsenal is very convincing. But I don't know. I'm not really convinced
yeah.
about West Ham at all yet.
But
But
the,
next game,
yeah.
Aston Villa versus Fulham. This was a boring game.
Something interesting actually happened with this game. Obviously, Fulham lost 3-0. Their owner actually came out and apologized to the fans for how bad Fulham is. That
you read that?
happened.
Bro, he was saying
Yeah.
that they were like on their fifth
Really?
center back because like
Yeah.
a couple of targets got COVID and then another one failed a medical.
Yeah.
And
Damn.
yeah, like he basically just like blurted out like the entire internal affairs of the club.
Yeah. He was saying they're on their fifth center back, but he was counting guys that like they don't even have because he was counting guys that they tried to sign and didn't get, and kind of blaming on that. That's funny.
I mean,
Oh,
I thought there's a couple of decent players in Fulham, as in Anguissa, I think is a solid player.
Yeah.
I think Kearney's all right. I think Mitrovic is all right. Joe Bryan.
Kenny
Other than that-
Tete is decent,
Yeah. Other than that,
but they have no center backs. No center backs.
Fulham has 2 Jamaicans. I had no idea. That guy who scored on Leeds, Bobby Cordova Reed, is Jamaican.
And Michael Hector.
he had a goal called back in that game as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I will say, McGinn, bro, I had never watched him play like when he first came into the league.
He's good.
Yeah. I had his FIFA card like 2 years ago, and he was insane.
Oh, last year he was insane.
Oh yeah, you remember that like 84 rated uniform he had?
Yeah,
He
that was
crazy.
last year.
Yeah,
He was crazy
he was so
good.
But yesterday, 2 players or 3, I say 3 players really stood out. And Mings, who we talked about earlier,
Mm-hmm.
Jack Grealish, and McGinn, they were insane. They played so good.
That
Those are 2
second
players
goal
that
Villa had was crazy good too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that was all meant by McGinn, but
McGinn
where he
was
stopped
like,
it for
McGinn looks like a Liverpool player in the sense that he was a center mid. He was just pressing all over the field, non-stop, high, hard-working press. Like he's a player I'd love to see him. Like if I was any player, any person, I'd love to see them at my club. And Jack Grealish as well. Matty Cash was decent again as well. Yeah, they look decent. I mean, it's against Fulham.
No, but
Fulham's probably the worst team in the
Villa
league.
has definitely improved from last season though. Like last season they were terrible, but
Yeah.
I mean it is against Fulham. Fulham is atrocious.
But
Like,
they beat Sheffield too.
Yeah, but Sheffield looked atrocious as well. So.
Yeah, I know. Still though, it's Villa. Like that's big. Two wins in a
I'd
row.
like to see Villa play Everton or play.
No, they're gonna get their cheeks clapped. Like I could say
we don't know.
that.
No, we don't know.
Yeah, or Everton or Crystal Palace or
Yeah,
a
Southampton.
non-top 6 team that has looked good so far this year. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Who did they play next weekend? Does anyone know?
Oh,
I mean, I can
no,
probably
I
figure
think I have it pulled up though. The schedule.
Aston Villa plays Liverpool.
Ooh. Ouch.
All right, now we'll see what they're really made of.
Yeah, I mean they haven't been scored on yet. Only team without a goal against. So props on them for that.
Really? Who would have thought? Oh, it's because of Emi Martinez, bro. That guy is.
Yeah, I mean,
Solid.
Dude,
did
he does
anyone?
wonders in fantasy.
You say that, but did anyone watch the game?
I watched the game.
No.
Did you see the goal?
The one that
back.
he dropped? Yeah, the one that he dropped.
Yeah.
Wait, who?
Emi Martinez,
Oh.
the guy from Aston Villa.
I haven't seen him play for Villa once, but when he was at Arsenal, he looked like a top keeper in the league. He's so solid. Do you remember he made a save? I don't remember what game it is, Sebastian. Hopefully you can help me out. He made a save. I'm telling you, it's one of the best saves I've ever seen in my life.
It was probably
It was the one where he saved it and hit the crossbar.
Oh, Ben Davies, Tottenham.
Yes.
Oh, that one. Yeah, no, that one. Yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah,
looked
one of my favorite saves of all time was the Jordan
Exactly.
Pickford World Cup. You guys know what I'm talking about. The long shot that was going top corner. Dude,
Wait, what? Which
Jordan
game?
picked were in the World Cup.
Oh no, I don't remember that.
It was a long dipping strike. I think it was Croatia.
It was Colombia. It was Colombia.
Oh yeah, it was Colombia. It was Colombia. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Colombia.
yeah. He saved it, and then Colombia equalized from the corner that happened
Yeah, I
immediately.
know. It was right after, so that save got everyone completely forgot about it. Like, yeah.
No, that was a good save. No, but yeah, I don't know, man. Emi Martinez, like he needed to leave though, because at Arsenal he wasn't gonna play. But like, oh my god, bro. I don't know why, but like I felt better with Emi Martinez in goal than with Leno.
I would too. I wanted Martinez at Chelsea.
He's just like not commanding. He's like not commanding in the box like at all. Like for crosses, like he can't judge crosses, bro. And Emi Martinez just looks so confident in the air, like he's like has no fear. I don't know. I don't know. It just sucks though, because Emi Martinez was on the books at Arsenal for 11 years, and like the first run of games that he got was like this past season, which is sad. 'Cause he's class.
Yeah. The thing is, he's 28, which isn't that old for a keeper. So he'll probably
No, not at all.
yeah, he'll probably go to a big club probably like next year.
Yeah, if he does well with Villa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Speaking of Arsenal, the next game was Liverpool Arsenal.
Dude,
yeah.
Arsenal looked horrible. I remember, so I said I was on a call with a bunch of people, and we were watching the game. And I mean, I thought it'd be 3-1. I felt like Liverpool's defense would make a mistake, and Arsenal would score, and that's exactly what happened. The Robertson mistake was horrible. I don't know what he was trying to do.
Oh yeah, so bad.
It was the most weird goal I've ever seen.
Chelsea should sign him just for that.
Robertson completely misses the ball, and then Lacazette completely misses the ball.
Oh yeah,
dives early, so it was just a mess of a goal. And then Mane went and scored instantly right afterwards. Right? Was it Mane or was it? No, I think that was the Robertson goal, right? The one that
No, Robertson scored the
it was the Mane one that happened right away.
Yeah.
And then
no, Robertson scored the second.
Scored 6 minutes later. Yeah. Arsenal. I'm kind of shocked at the fact that I completed 395 passes, because I feel like they weren't completing passes that entire game until like the last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
In the game, I thought they couldn't complete a pass. I mean, I'm looking right now. Aubameyang had 40% pass completion. I don't know if they felt like they were being dominated.
It was so painful to watch, bro. Because like I could tell from early, bro, that long ball that we love to play to Aubameyang from the left was not on, and they just kept trying it and kept trying it and kept trying it, and it was not working.
Joe Gomez had a good game. I will say that. I thought he was pretty solid.
Who did?
Joe Gomez.
Joe Gomez did well, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but what was I gonna say? We were in there, bro. Lacazette missed that 1-on-1.
Oh,
he missed
two.
He missed two
sitters.
The first one was offsides. The first one was offsides, but the second one was.
He just chipped it down the middle. It looked like a FIFA chip.
No, for real.
You just don't hold it down long enough.
that was the first one. The second one was the one where he just shot it right at Allison, and he was like,
yeah.
But no, bro, like
for Arsenal, there was a bright spot. I thought El Neni was really good again.
Him, Danny Ceballos, when he came off the bench, he was good.
He looked good when he came on.
He was making some tackles too.
Yeah, no, he did well.
He's looked good for them.
Yeah, no, he's a good.
No one really fully stood out. I thought El Neni was probably the best player.
No, the only three players that stood out for me were obviously Ceballos when he came on, El Neni, and then Maitland-Niles did okay too. He was involved.
Why didn't Gabriel start?
I have no idea. I actually don't know.
Have you not seen anything anywhere about it?
No, it was. I guess it's just because he didn't want to throw him into a game against Liverpool. But I mean, I would have honestly rather had Gabriel than David Luiz, because David.
Holding looked horrible. Luiz looked horrible.
Holding. The thing with Holding was just his passing, but like he was getting some blocks and like he was solid defensively. Just not solid. I wouldn't say solid, but he did his thing defensively. But just trying to pass it out the back with Holding wasn't working.
Yeah, he also looks super slow.
Like, oh yeah, for sure.
Yes, one of the slowest players I've ever seen play.
Tierney got ate up by Salah on that first goal.
I was going to say Tierney just looked out of place playing left center back. I don't think that's really what he was signed for, is to be a left center back. But
yeah. Yeah, he obviously got rinsed by Salah, but I mean, like if he were to touch Salah's going down, and that's a pen.
The one player that surprised me was just rinsing you guys was Holta when he came on.
Jota was what a debut.
He's dirty, bro.
Like his finishing was very subpar, but on the ball he was eating up the Arsenal midfield and defense. Eating up. He kept getting the ball and creating chance after chance by himself, and I was just like, what is going on here?
He replaced Mane. Who's probably the best player on the pitch, and it was like nothing happened. Like it was like he didn't even get off the field. It was like they didn't skip a beat. It was crazy.
That's a good point. But yeah, that's a great point actually. But why do you think? Why you say Jota's finishing was bad? Like he missed a couple, and then he had a really good finish on the goal. Like you can't expect more than that.
He had
Saw that play where Salah just took the ball off of him. Like I don't know if you guys
yeah.
That's selfish as heck, bro.
That was just disrespectful. That's what I was.
Well, the one way I can compare his shooting to would be probably Eriksson. I don't know, Joey, if you can vouch for me. Remember when Eriksson would just take long shots and it would just dribble right into the goalie's hands?
Yes, every fucking time.
Yeah, that's what he kept doing. He would have shots where it would just look at like zero power on the ball and it would just dribble into the keeper's hands.
Now he had one that hit
crazy
Nettie. That one was decent. I mean, he still missed the one, but like.
Yeah. Well, he looked good though. He looked really positive.
He looked class.
I'm saying he probably should have scored 3 goals almost on you guys.
For sure.
Some people had concerns about Liverpool after the Leeds game. If I were a Liverpool fan, I wouldn't be too concerned.
I mean, it is Arsenal,
They've already got points off Arsenal and Chelsea. So you could say it's only Arsenal, it's only Chelsea, but it's still Arsenal.
Yeah, but those are two big six sides. Like, I understand they're not the best right now, but I mean, it is what it is. They got the job done. That's what they're here to do. Yeah.
It's Liverpool, but it's probably arguably the second best team in the world right now.
Who would you say is number 1?
Bayern.
That's not a question. Who's number 1?
That's what I was saying. Yeah, I thought it was funny. So while we're watching this game, I was looking at like the who scored, and they had a bunch of like team strengths and team weaknesses. And it says Liverpool's 3 weaknesses. They have avoiding individual errors at very weak, which I think is a pretty good one, because half the goals on them have been individual errors from Van Dijk, Robertson, Trent. They have aerial duels, which I was questioning with that one. But my favorite one was defending against skillful players. So we were watching a bunch of Pepe highlights versus Liverpool from like their last game, and they kept showing Pepe lose the ball to Van Dijk over and over again. It was so funny. Yeah, and then another one that was interesting. Arsenal weaknesses, they had avoiding offsides, and it was funny because in that game I feel like Arsenal got called for offsides like 10, 11, 12 times.
Yeah, for sure.
Consistently over and over and over again.
Hector Bellerin got called for 2 foul throws.
Oh, that was disgusting.
That was hilarious. And that was a new one for me. I have not seen that one since Sergio Aurier came into Spurs. It had like 3 foul throws in his debut.
No, but it just shows levels, bro. Like Liverpool will take Mane off and bring in Jota, bro, and then Arsenal takes off Willian, brings on Pepe, and it's nothing. Like nothing happens. Like there's no improvement at all. It's
my favorite moment of that entire match though had to be Bellerin with his shirt tucked in. He looked so funny.
Nah, he has his shirt tucked in, and I'm pretty sure he has all black boots too, so he looks even funnier to me.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, he looks hilarious.
No, bro.
Yeah, so moving on. Since it was today, I was talking about the EFL Cup game. The big one at least. Spurs versus Chelsea.
I wanted to talk about the game last week first. Just
briefly. The last week game first?
Yeah, just briefly. All the big six sides won, I believe. Actually, Spurs didn't have to play.
Yeah, because the team they're playing against had Corona.
COVID.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, just quickly, I wanted to say that obviously Chelsea looked great, but you're supposed to look great against Barnsley. Havertz got a hat trick. But my takeaway from that game wasn't the Havertz hat trick. All of his goals were set up by Tammy. I thought the best player in that game by far was Tammy. The fact that he set up 3 goals, and that's not even what he's known for, plus he got his own. He was just balling that whole game. And I think that's why he got the start against West Brom. So, I mean, after West Brom, who knows if he'll get another start. But, yeah, just wanted to put put some respect for Tammy from that game.
So then, other games. You want to talk about that? Anyone watch the Arsenal game?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did.
Austin did, right? Go for it.
Yeah. I mean, it was the League Cup, so like both sides played like their B teams or whatever. But Reece Nelson looked pretty lively. And I typically talk bad about him. I think we should get rid of him, but I mean, he did his thing. Eddie Nketiah should be starting ahead of Lacazette, and he did well in the Leicester game. He got his goal. But even Pepe looked good against that Leicester team, which is sad because I thought he was gonna do something when he got on against Liverpool, but that wasn't the case in the slightest. But no, man, like obviously then we have to play Liverpool again in the next round, so I'm not too confident about that. But no, against Leicester it was a pretty decent showing.
Yeah, Liverpool plays Arsenal, Brighton plays United, Everton, West Ham, Burnley, Man City. So
yeah, shout out Liam Delap too, the young City striker. He scored last week in Carabao, and then Guardiola played him.
Yeah, I saw that.
He didn't seem to do much, but
son of a legend, bro. You know who his dad is, right?
Yeah, Rory Delap, Stoke City legend. He played for Stoke, right?
Long throw god. Yeah, for Stoke. Yeah, he played with Ricardo Fuller.
Ricardo Fuller, the god. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean my favorite matchup for tomorrow will be Brighton United. Hopefully Brighton can get some revenge.
I didn't even know that. Why are there so many teams playing twice? Or maybe it's just those two. But
I mean Liverpool, Arsenal, Brighton, United. I feel like that always happens in FIFA, bro. When you play career mode, like whenever
even like a different comp.
Yeah, you play them in the cup and then you play them in the league, or the other way around. It's so weird.
Yeah, but we could talk about Chelsea, Tottenham. There's not much to talk about because it was honestly kind of a boring game. Didn't end well for Chelsea because Mason Mount lost his head and didn't even get his penalty on target. But I'm not too concerned about anything really. I mean, like I said, there's not much to say. Spurs were dropped back the whole game. Chelsea didn't have much to say. They only had 2 shots on target in the first half, which is when we were. Well, I was gonna say dominating, but 2 shots on target. It's not that dominant. And who scored the first goal? Yeah, the first goal was nice because Azpilicueta completely cracked Reguilon. Like he had Reguilon on the floor. Like there's some spilled milk.
Big facts.
Other than that play though, I thought Reguilon actually looked really good.
Reguilon looked good. And Werner got his first goal. That's important.
Yeah, but Reguilon actually looked really solid though. He looked so fast. That one slide tackle he had.
Yes.
I was impressed. Especially after his rocky start. After that, going forward, oh my gosh.
Yeah, second half he was in the box literally 50% of the second half.
Yeah, I was very impressed with how well we were playing.
And he had a good work rate too. I like that sometimes there were times where it didn't even look like he'd get the ball, but he sprinted after it anyway. Like when it was in that right back position.
One thing I will say though, I feel like no one will give him credit. I thought Gedson Fernandez actually had a good game today.
I mean, he did nothing wrong.
He didn't do anything wrong. I feel like his distribution was solid. He kept the position well. He wasn't giving away stupidly, dribbling into 2 positions. He did his job really well.
He came off midway through the second half. So when we started to really perform, he wasn't there for it.
Well,
or maybe the beginning.
Like we brought on Kane, we brought on Højbjerg, and we brought on Lucas Moura. I mean, the whole second half we were performing like crazy. I feel like it wasn't just when he got subbed out. I don't think that was the difference. It was more when we haven't even mentioned Lamela. Oh yeah, Lamela was. I don't understand why he doesn't start every game. I don't really understand it whatsoever. He's better than Lucas. I mean, like Joey, you can vouch. He plays like that almost every single game, right? Like when he comes on, Lamela, he comes on, he puts in a work rate, a shift like that, like always.
It's so weird with Lamela because if I'm going to be honest, growing up, I've been a Spurs fan for 6-7 years now. Growing up, he's always came off the bench and done shitty things. Like
Well, I feel like
he would.
when he first came to the club.
Let me keep going. Let me keep
Yeah.
going. He'd come in and he'd always get close to goal and always fuck up a pass at the last second or miss his shot. But as I grew up, I started to notice more of his work rate and how he might fuck up in the last pass or the last shot, but he gets there. Unlike all the other players who fuck up at the beginning, Lamela gets there. Lamela does his job, and he scored today, and it showed.
Lamela can create chances. Pretty much.
He does.
That
Where
doesn't sound like a very glowing
Bergwijn and
description.
Lucas don't create chances.
not at all.
I feel like that's something that Stone lacked in his game, and he's really brought in these last few seasons, where he's really stepped up, was his chance creation and his ability to finish. I feel like if Lamela didn't spend all that time on the sidelines injured, I feel like he could be up to that level that Stone has got himself up to. I feel like they were both very similar players when they first came in. They made a lot of mistakes, but they had the work rate and they had the ability to create chances. But I feel like Son has been able to play and stay in the squad for so long that he's been able to work his way up to where he is now. I feel like Lamela, given the time, and if he has an injury-free season, which he hasn't had, I mean, he spent almost 9 months a year injured every single year for the last like 4 or 5 years, and I feel bad
You're
for
right.
that because I feel like he has quality in him that he can shine. I mean, there's a reason why we bought him, and everyone was super hyped about him. I mean, he was a record signing, and I feel like he has that in him, and you see it in flashes when he is playing well. You can see what he has in him, and I feel like if he just polishes up a little bit, gets playtime a lot, I feel like he can be a solid squad rotation player and take the spot of Lucas Moura as that player that comes in behind Bale or behind Son.
I agree with you, especially since the form of Dele Alli is dropping,
like crazy.
and since we lost Christian Eriksen, who really hasn't been performing for Spurs in the last year and a half there. We need that creativity that Lamela brings.
He is the Eriksen replacement that we didn't have to buy.
Somewhat, yeah.
It's not like he's gonna play over Bale though. So
he won't, but I feel like he can play through the middle as well.
But we still have Lo Celso and Ndombele to go through too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He can play that role for them, or he can play for Son or for Bale as well.
Yeah, no, I'd still prefer Lo Celso and Tanguy over Lamela in a starting lineup. But
yeah, for sure.
Coming off the bench with 20 minutes remaining, I know Lamela will be full of energy for the whole time.
And make an absolute impact on the game.
Yeah.
So do you guys think this will actually happen though? Because you guys are playing Winks and Højbjerg right now.
Well, Winks, Højbjerg, and Lo Celso look like for now will be the starting lineup. I mean, what do you think about Højbjerg and Sissoko playing together?
Sissoko hasn't been up to his form the year that we made that Champions League run. After we made our Champions League run, he kind of started to fall down, and mostly because of injuries.
Before. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like his biggest issue is his first touch. Taking too heavy.
That one first touch today.
Yeah.
It's
too heavy of a touch.
Zuma just blasted it.
That is his biggest issue. But I feel like he was slightly mistake prone, but not to the extremes of Aurier. But I feel like overall he is a strong, solid player to have in the squad.
He's a tank.
Yeah, at his absolute best, like I feel like Højbjerg, Sissoko, and Lo Celso, or even almost Sissoko and I mean, personally, I think Sissoko and Ndombele and Lo Celso could be the best midfielder you could possibly have. The
thing about Sissoko is that he grew up, and even when he started his professional career, he was a right mid. He never really was a box-to-box midfielder. And now we want him, even I want him to play a defensive midfielder role because he clearly has the body for it. But it's just I don't think he can.
Yeah.
He does. He saves us. But if he grew up as a defensive midfielder, it'd be amazing. It'd be Moussa Dembele 2.0.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I see in him.
And then
I feel like he has some qualities that could be better than Dembele. Obviously not on the ball stuff, but defensively. But I don't know. I'd really love to see him blossom a little more, like he did 2 years ago. But
yeah, and then just to touch on some of the performances from the Chelsea side, I thought Edouard Mendy had a good debut. He had a couple of good saves.
He had a great drop.
Yeah, he had a bad bubble. It was Kepa-esque for sure, but and it frightened me. But I'll take the positives and just
I
kind
thought
of
Oscar
highlight those.
looked good for you guys.
I was just about to say I thought he looked bad.
Oh, you thought he looked bad?
Yeah,
I mean,
he gave away the ball a lot,
in the first
like
half,
a
yeah. In the
lot.
first half, I thought he was good. In the second half, when you guys were controlling the ball, I felt like he looked decent. Second half, I felt like he was getting eaten up by Reguilon, but I felt like he was getting no help.
Mm.
Because you guys you had Jorginho and Hudson-Odoi trying to help him defend, and I felt like he was getting overloaded by Moura and Reguilon.
Going forward, when we gave him the ball, it almost all the time ended up in Spurs' hands. So like I don't know what he was on. I don't know what he was on. I didn't think Chilwell looked good. Chilwell's another one that looked good against Barnsley. Like I wish we could get a couple more Barnsley games. That was fun. But he didn't. What do you think of Chilwell? I didn't think he looked good at all.
I don't think he looked bad, but he didn't really do anything. I feel like he was just kind of there. It wasn't like a flashy sign.
Yeah, that's true. But
he
I
just looked
thought
like a squad player that was just playing another game.
it was a couple of times. I can't really remember off the top of my head what exactly it was, but there were a couple of times he looked a little suspect. Tamori had a good game.
Yeah,
Tamori handled Bergwijn well a couple of times,
so, yeah,
or a few times.
I remember Aurier just rinsing Chilwell on the wing with some good quick touches, and Lamelo as well. I thought Emerson played decent when he came on. I mean, he was amazing.
He was at fault for the goal though, so
no, he was.
So I don't yeah, I don't care how good he played, like because
I mean, I don't think it was only his fault. I mean, Zuma's didn't jump. They had the ball.
I blame him. He got back into position. I'm pretty sure it was his man. If it was Zuma's man, then yeah. But
it was Emerson's man. But Zuma clearly could have headed the ball out, and he just didn't jump. Kind of just skid it off the top of his head.
Yeah, he could jump high as hell too. But but Emerson literally got back and then missed the ball. Like it just looked lazy to me, you know.
I mean,
it was kind of like a Luke
great
Shaw.
ball on his foot as well.
What?
That pass from out was incredible.
Yeah. Was that
that ball was like a frisbee. That thing was just floating in the air.
Oh, that was on that goal, right? And then Reguilon with his right foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a nice play.
Played like a 70-foot pass from behind midfield all the way over the top into you guys' 18.
Yeah, that was really nice. But I think we can move on to just briefly talk about next week's games.
The biggest one. The biggest one off the top of my head is Tottenham United.
Yeah, 100%.
And me looking at it, it's against a United team that has defended poorly in their first two games. Hasn't controlled the midfield very well. And now with Tottenham playing well against Newcastle, decently well against Chelsea, even though it wasn't their first team side, and well against Southampton, it looks like we might be able to go to United and dominate the match, even though we aren't a dominating possession-based side.
I think there's a lot of good games this weekend. A lot of good tests. If we go in order, Chelsea, Crystal Palace. Chelsea, they can't break down a good defense against Spurs in specific. And they're going to eat on the counterattack through pace on the wings. And that's exactly what Crystal Palace does. And I think Palace could come on top in that game as well. I mean, unless Chelsea changes something and they click and they play well, I think Crystal Palace could win that game pretty simply. I don't know what you guys think about that, Johnny. What do you have to say about that?
I think Chelsea games are very hard to predict right now. Obviously, the West Brom game, who would have thought that? I think they'll win, to be honest with you, but I think it'll be tough. That's just because I think, we're going to get a couple of guys back. Pulisic will probably play. Chilwell will probably play. And I
mean, you probably don't see them losing. What would it be? Well, I mean, the West Brom you pretty much almost count as a loss just with how poor a performance that was.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously it's still a draw. But figuratively, 4 games in a row. I mean, Liverpool, and the West Brom game pretty much to me is a loss. And then Spurs, and then I don't know if they lose 4 games on the bounce. But I don't know. If this was mid-season game, coming off a win. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to predict. 'Cause I feel
We'll
like
probably have a response to your point.
I feel like you see a response in this game, but at the same time, I feel like it's not the best matchup for them.
I wouldn't be
really,
surprised if
you're
there wasn't a
Chelsea
response.
fan, you want to be playing Fulham right now.
I mean, of course. But if we're a Chelsea fan, honestly, you want to be playing West Brom, and we just did.
I was about to say that.
Like that last weekend, I was excited. I thought it was the perfect game for some people to get their feet under them, and those people were Mateus Pereira and Callum Robinson. But the more you talk about it, the more it sounds like I sort of agree with you. Chelsea might not get the result we want. I still think we'll win. I think we'll have a response, and I think we'll squeeze out a little one-goal win.
Game, but I'm not fully convinced is the issue.
I'm not convinced at all.
Play up to par, I think you win this game, but from the recent performances, you'd think you'd be losing this game. From how Palace has been playing, how Chelsea's been playing, you'd see Palace winning this game.
Yeah, I feel like Palace would rip up the defense.
Sadly, I think that's not even like a point we can debate. Palace has been playing better than Chelsea, and that's Yeah. Next one's Everton-Brighton. That should actually be a good game.
That's gonna be a good one.
I feel bad for Brighton. Their first couple games this season are horrible.
Yeah. Oh no, I forgot who. Someone has a terrible schedule.
It was Brighton.
Is it Brighton?
I think it was Brighton or maybe West Ham.
There's a team that's playing like 4 of the top 6. No, I think it's Newcastle.
Well, Brighton's already played Chelsea, United, and now they play
Everton.
Oh.
Yes, that's
Actually,
bad.
no, it's Arsenal. Arsenal has, after Sheffield, they have Man City, Leicester, Man United, Aston Villa, Leeds, and then Wolves. That's pretty tough.
No, I think it was Brighton that had like 4 of the top 5 in the first couple games. Or maybe it might have been West Brom. It might have been West Brom actually.
Well, it's not Newcastle, and that's what I thought. I just checked.
Tottenham play City, then Chelsea, then Arsenal, then Palace, then Leicester, and then Wolves.
Brighton play Palace and West Brom after this Everton game. I think it might be West Brom or Fulham. It might be Fulham actually.
I feel like it's
West
Fulham
Brom
now.
play Southampton, Burnley. I think it might be Fulham.
It might be Fulham. Yeah.
Anyway, Everton-Brighton. Who would have ever thought that this would be like a game?
Who it is. There was someone though.
Who would have ever thought that this would be a game that you like mark on the calendar? You got to watch that one. But it kind of is. Like the way both of these teams have been playing, they've both been great going forward, and not just effective, but they've actually both been like possession-based, just quality attacking teams.
Yeah.
Which is weird to say. I mean, I guess the only way it's not as good as we think is if Brighton looks at what Everton has been doing and decides to drop back a bit, which could definitely happen.
Yeah. I mean, if both sides play attacking. I mean, I don't see Brighton sitting back though. I mean, they didn't sit back against Chelsea, and they didn't sit back against United, which means you think they'd be sitting back against, but they just didn't.
Exactly.
Which is one of the things I was telling you before. Is last season they get eaten alive playing against some of those bigger teams because they didn't sit back. So, I don't know. You could see some points dropped here. You could see. I mean, I could be looking at like a 2-2 tie here. You could be looking at a 4-1 Everton win. I mean, I don't really see Brighton winning this game, but you never really know. It could be a 2-1 Brighton win. I mean, you could see this game going any way.
It should be competitive. And the next game is Leeds Man City, which will probably be game of the weekend. I think that should be a cracking game.
Entertainment value, yes, obviously United Tottenham is going to be a big game, but entertainment value wise, I feel like Leeds Man City probably could be the game of the week.
Well, the last United Tottenham
about that
game
earlier with Man City's and Liverpool struggle against the counterattack and struggle against fast build-up play,
especially
which is what City struggled against with Leicester. This is a game. Leeds obviously aren't as solid as Leicester in the back, and they might not have as much quality, but they play a similar quick attacking football.
But on the other hand, Laporte will probably be back. So that could make a massive difference.
Back, but You don't really know. I mean, is Laporte the difference between being able to defend on counterattacks? I feel like the issue wasn't just the center backs, but the issue was the midfield not giving the center back support. And you still have Mendy who gave away penalties.
I didn't feel it.
You
I
still,
didn't feel it was the midfield. I felt it was the back four as a unit, not one individual person. But because I thought
and
Roger.
not stepping up high enough. I mean, to me, it looked like they weren't really sure of what they were playing in that game. They didn't
They
really
just
know if
looked
they
like
were playing
they
a
just
high
couldn't
line or
handle it.
if they're playing deep. It looked like they went to the game wanting to play a high line. But then after the counterattacks, they kept dropping off, and the defense was getting caught up because they were dropping off, and the midfield wasn't reacting to that, and realizing, oh, you guys need to step up. It looked like there was poor communication.
Yeah,
And
communication for sure.
half the team was pressing, half the team was dropping off, and that looked like a big issue there.
I thought they looked nervous. Like anytime Leicester attacked, it looked like
Yeah.
they thought Leicester was gonna score.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like Leeds could do the same. I mean, I expected City to win this game if Laporte's playing. If they don't, I'd be surprised. But again, I can see it going either way. You know, I think it'll be a good game.
Yeah, without Laporte, I might predict a draw. To be honest with you, because it's
Without, yeah, I feel like without Laporte, it could be a lot like the Liverpool game.
because
scoring
literally
going either
Leeds will exploit they just will.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and the way Bamford, Harrison, Costa are linking up right now, Klitsch, like they may not be Leicester, but they kind of playing like Leicester right now.
It's similar fast build-up play, similar to how they play, how Leicester just played against City. So
Yeah.
well, I mean, again, you could even see a 4-0 the City win here.
100%.
If Leeds can't put their passes together and they get their defense gets eaten alive, so you don't really know.
Is Jesus gonna be back? Do you know?
No clue. Any of you guys know?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we should probably move on. I don't think we really have to say anything about Newcastle
I don't care about
Burnley.
this game at all.
Yeah, the Jeff Hendricks derby.
Newcastle have probably had the worst performance out of any team I've seen this entire season against Spurs. They got saved by Darlow. I mean, Burnley again. Just don't care about Burnley. All the time when they lost their 2 opening games. They don't look good.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then
in the relegation battle this year. Not a very entertaining game.
Yeah, next one.
If you're Newcastle, you're hoping to pick up points here for both teams. But yeah.
Yeah, next one's Leicester West Ham.
Yep, which
both teams are coming off big wins.
Yeah, this is what I was saying. West Ham or Aston Villa I want to see them playing is against another team in a similar position to them, where maybe you could, I won't say overperforming, but they had a good game, and I want them to play against a team that is just outside the big six, and see how they do. And this is a good game for them to play. I mean, I feel like Leicester's going to dominate this game, completely destroy them, but I'm going to predict a 3-1 game here.
Yeah, most likely. They're going to destroy them.
Yeah, but I'd be surprised if Leicester doesn't come out with a win in this game. I don't know about everyone else, but...
Next one's another throwaway, Southampton West Brom.
I don't say throwaway, bro. It's Southampton, bro. Joey.
That's it, throwaway.
That's
Joey's team right here.
Dude, he means throwaway as in Southampton's going to crush them.
For sure.
West Brom only did so well just because they were playing Chelsea and they want to get looked at. But Southampton, no one's going to watch, so Southampton's going to easily walk by them.
Yeah, and then...
No, I mean throwaway in terms of we got to end this soon, so I'm throwing that game away. Wolves, Fulham. I mean,
you expect Wolves to win this game and hopefully come back from their poor performance in their last game, but you don't know.
I mean, we have a team and their owners apologizing for them being so shit. Like, they better not beat Wolves. Like, they better not beat Wolves.
They have the worst goal differential in the league by pretty big difference.
They have the worst team in the league, eyeball test, by pretty big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Arsenal, Sheffield. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, so I'm going to say, West Brom and Fulham have both allowed double-digit goals against already so far. The next worst is 7. They've allowed 10 and 11 against. So, They both have the 2 worst goal differentials, so it's not looking too good for them so far this year.
I feel like West Brom could pick up some points though, cause they have ballers.
Well, right now they're in 17th,
They should have
ahead
taken off
of Burnley and Sheffield, and then Fulham. I
Wow.
mean, I don't see Aston Villa not getting scored on for the first time here, and I don't see Liverpool not winning. But it's a good test for McGinn and Grealish and the rest of the lads to see how they do. I think Johnny's headphones died again.
Oh no.
Classic Johnny.
I'll go first. I kind of said it before, but we are the team in form. Yes, United did just beat Brighton, luckily. But we showed a dominant second half display against Chelsea. A dominant game against Newcastle, a dominant game against Southampton, and our only bad or negative thing about this game is that we're not going to have Son, and that's big. He is a pest like Jamie Vardy, and now just putting Harry Kane next to Bergwijn and Lucas isn't, and hopefully Lamella, that'd be good.
Well,
that'd be going back on what you're saying.
What do you think they're going to play? Do you think they're going to go back to the back 3 again?
No.
Or do you think they'll stick with the back 4?
I don't think so. I hope that they do back 4 with Reguilón and Doherty.
Yeah, I mean, I like to see that. I mean, Reguilón looked decent in the back 4. Those were getting caught out a lot towards the end, but that requires good center back play, and I'm hoping Dyer and Alderweireld can keep up and be solid in the back, which will be important. If they are solid defenders in the back, I can see us being able to play similar to Liverpool with a very expansive football, which is what we looked like we were playing in that second half against Chelsea. But yeah, I mean, it's not looking too bad. We need to be able to get back as quick as possible and Son to get better, fix his hammy injury.
I saw a report saying that Son should be back at the international break. So maybe our first game against West Ham. Yeah, so maybe our first game against West Ham, we'll see the front 3 of Son, Kane, Bale. Yeah.
So, quick introduction. Case, are you there?
Yo.
Hey.
After we talk about the last thing of the entire show.
I hopped on Discord to see what's going on, and you guys are still here.
Yeah, we had a long discussion. Johnny's headphones went out for a little bit. Do you have anything you want to recap, or give us a little insight on the City game, City Leicester? Anything you have to say?
Bro, all I'm saying is Ruben Diaz is looking like a great signing right now. I don't care how much we got to spend. I don't care how much we got to spend on center backs, bro. We just got to find one. Find one that sticks.
Well, do you think Ake had a bad game?
I don't know. I mean, I don't. Like
he was the only defender to not give up a penalty.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Kyle Walker usually isn't usually that retarded. But I don't know. It didn't seem like a 5-2 game. It's just a lot of bad decisions. You feel me? And plus, all of their goals were kind of insane. Yeah, we just get caught out a lot because if we lose the ball, then Kyle Walker is kind of just relies on his pace.
Yeah,
every time
Walker was always up.
Yeah,
I feel like on a lot of the counterattacks, you guys are playing with 2 true DMs who play pivot DMs for you guys usually. But I feel like neither of them were staying back at all. It was kind of weird to me.
Yeah, it was weird that game. Plus, that was our first game without any strikers at all.
That's one thing I brought up.
So
yeah,
it was kind of weird. I'm sure everyone in the team was kind of confused as what to do.
Yeah,
Fernandinho isn't very fast at all. So
one way you guys like to play is playing balls between the fullback and the center back to a winger that's making a diagonal run to the corner of the 6 or the 18, and you guys like to score through cutbacks. You guys score so many goals through cutbacks into the box.
Yeah, exactly. And
I felt like having Foden and Mahrez as the 2 guys on the outside just didn't really work out.
Yeah, so
exactly. Yeah, that was Foden can't really play that role there.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll see how he lines up.
What do you think about?
I don't think we're going to see. We're not going to see that formation against Leeds. What do you think? What do you think we're going to do?
You guys play next weekend. Yeah.
I don't even know what he's going to do. I think he's going to try to play either Sterling or De Bruyne as a false 9, and instead of Mahrez up top.
I mean, could you think you could see Ferran Torres as a winger in that game too?
Yeah, if we play, yeah. Torres might start, to be honest. I kind of hope. I want to see him play more. And I
So
feel
I
like
feel like
Leeds would be a good game, like get him going, you know.
yeah, I feel like they're playing with too many central players in that squad, and the only
Yeah.
true winger. 'Cause I mean, you can almost call Mars an inside forward. The only true winger was Sterling, and he was playing at the number 9. So
Yeah,
I feel like they
exactly.
kind of struggled with that.
Yeah, so you might see Torres on the left because he's been coming on for Sterling recently. I
Yeah.
don't know if he's gonna play on both or what's good, but I don't know. I hope Ruben Diaz plays too. Otamendi's gone, thank God. But we'll see how Diaz does.
Yeah. But anyone else got anything else to talk about?
I'm back, by the way.
I'm good. I think we did pretty well this episode.
Yeah, I think
Good
we
job,
can wrap it
guys.
up now. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in to the Bend It Like Bender podcast. We'll see you Friday for a special episode.